everybody, welcome to FreeMMOStation. I'm Skyland Shore, and I'm excited to bring you my first impression review of the new MMORPG, I don't know what genre to call this, a Pokemon-inspired MMO, Moonrise.
FreeMMOStation.com.
Okay, so first things first, it is like Pokemon. It's not gonna have, I guess, the RPG mechanics of Pokemon. Like, you're not gonna be traveling around an open world with lots of different trainers and the giant, I don't know, expansive story line thing. You're not gonna have any of that, really. It's really more focused on PvP and grinding. I guess you could say like dungeoneering, like dungeon-esque. You are gonna be going through dungeons, and it's really grind-oriented. And I mean, that's pretty much that's the gameplay. I just want that to be clear. You're not gonna have an open world. You're not gonna have the exploration like that. Is basically you take your creatures into dungeons in order to get more creatures in order to go back into dungeons, and essentially the end game is that sort of cyclical process there with some PvP mixed in, mainly the PvP. You know, you want to do the arenas, and if you're a fan of that, you know, if you're a fan of competitive Pokemons like I am, I love me some Pokemans and the competitiveness, the esporty kind of. It's not really an esport, but kind of. You know, there are some tournaments for Pokemon, but that interests me. And, you know, that's exciting to me, and I'm probably to a lot of you guys, based on statistics, Pokemon's freaking huge, and, well, this game is definitely borrowing from that. I think Moonrise is a comfortable game for, I guess, maybe E for everyone, maybe PG-13. I think it's a good game for children and adults, likewise. You know, it's kind of drawing on that nostalgic Pokemon feel, and I could say that its creatures have a lot of character, you know, similar to Pokemon. It looks really good. But the only downside that I have to the game is that it's not as MMO as I would want it to be. It really feels more just like an RPG that has some multiplayer aspects to it. I mean, that's how it feels. It's not like you're going to be grouping with like 4 or more people and tackling down raid bosses or anything like that. For the most part, you're going it alone, and then you will be fighting players well, in the arenas. That's pretty much it. But let's talk about some of the things that I really like about this game. Hopefully from my tonality, you can tell that I do like this game. I am excited for this game. So when I first saw the game and I saw its graphics, I didn't really read up on it. I thought it was lackluster. Its graphics are simplistic, but then again, that's because it's actually going to come to mobile devices. So if you consider that, yes, it's not going to have a giant open world, I guess. The graphics are simple, but at the same time, they look really clean and colorful. So considering all things with those limitations, the game is actually still really fantastic. In fact, even though it doesn't have an open world, it does have a really mechanical combat. It's really fast-paced, really explosive. It's nice. It's a really nice spectacle. Like, when you're actually watching this game being played, the battles look really good, absolutely rivaling the new Pokemon games. So Moonrise, I definitely think, has its place. I think it's probably going to be the Pokemon replacement for mobile devices. Now, you can play this game on Steam. It also will be on Steam. It's a really light download. It's probably going to run on any machine whatsoever. So, if you want a game to play with pretty much anybody that's, you know, rated E for everyone, this is a good game to do it. It's fast, family, fun, I guess. But Moonrise, man, I'm really excited for this game. I hope a lot of people enjoy this game because there is a really interesting battle mechanics, okay? So, unlike Pokemon, which is turn-based, you have in this game a real-time turn-based kind of system. It's very similar to Final Fantasy. So you have a time bar where you can choose to attack at any time, but then you have cooldowns, which is very interesting instead of it being turn-based. The only thing that makes it kind of seem like turn-based is that whenever, like, only one creature can attack at a time, or one creature can do one thing at a time. So there is a slight turn system. If something has its cooldown faster and it starts attacking, then your creature will have to wait until after the end of that attack. But otherwise, it seems like a real-time combat, and it just feels really good, really fast-paced, really explosive, especially considering that you control multiple units. It's not just any one, like, I guess in Pokemon, it's just like one Pokemon. It really feels like the team battles in Pokemon. What's also interesting, it kind of reminds me of Jade Cocoon. If you guys remember playing that game, that's an old gem from the PlayStation era. Jade Cocoon, your character, which captured monsters, could also attack and use abilities. And so, likewise, your character that you are playing can also attack and use abilities. And they tend to be really high cooldown, really explosive, game-changing abilities. So you are actually very strong as a unit. But whenever you lose your monsters, that is the end of the game. So, these different monsters, very similar to Pokemon, have elements. And some of these elements, you know, like, I guess, Jinkin or Rock, Paper, Scissors, it's, you know, grass is weak to fire, fire is weak to water. You get it. Okay, it's pretty much that. Now, the story with the game, I think, is very interesting, and it allows for a colorful painting of the world. So, Basically, there was this event called the Moonrise, and essentially it kind of infected the Solaris monsters, and they turned into Lunaris monsters. And it kind of reminds me, I guess, of Pokemon Gale of Darkness, where Pokemon can turn into dark Pokemon, and you have to, like, cure them. It's basically like that. Now, where's this game going to get its money? It's basically going to get its money because a lot of the capturing, a lot of the gathering of the Pokemon can be acquired through just paying money and kind of going through a lottery system. So there is that. I wouldn't call it pay to win, really. I mean, you're just getting a creature faster. It's kind of, I mean, that's kind of part of the fun. I don't know. I wouldn't call it pay to win. You can also get keys. Like, you can also acquire keys, which keys are like the Pokeballs of this game. So you can acquire keys through normal playing, or you can just buy them. So, you know, there's that. Nothing I'm really seeing that just screams pay to win. That, you know, I'm just not seeing that. So that's a good thing. You know, as a free to play game. And especially being a mobile game, which is notorious for, you know, freemium games are notorious for being pay to win. So I'm really glad that Moonrise does not seem pay to win. I would like to see a lot more customization with my characters, though. Maybe, I don't know, if we could get some customization for the creatures. Maybe, I don't know if that's even possible. I don't know. But anyways, so for monetization, I have no idea how they can monetize this game or do anything extra. It seems pretty cool. I'd just like to see more customization options for my characters, especially base customization. It was really simple. I could see that they want to go for a really, I guess, young, energetic aesthetic there. I like, very similar to Pokemon, you know, kids with hats and vests and, I don't know, cargo pants and just looking all silly and, I don't know, skater-esque. It's pretty cool. But I would like to see a little bit more customization that would cater to a little bit more. Maybe I could see some mage clothing, some robes, I don't know, some cool things like that. But for, I guess, what's in the game right now, it's pretty basic. It's pretty cool, especially for a mobile game. It can't be too heavy with characters, but so far, from what the characters I've seen, seem really unique and creative. And also considering that, yes, like Pokemon, these creatures will also evolve. So that's pretty cool, right? Yeah, so you gotta evolve these creatures. It seems like they evolve at a similar pace. Overall, this is something that I really like. It seems like the people that made Moonrise really also played competitive Pokemon, because in this game, in this game, you can actually trait your Pokemon stats. Like, you can choose which stats, I guess, get elevated or enhanced. Where in Pokemon, you can't really do that. So, I mean, you can do that, but it's a really complicated process, and it would take, like, videos worth to explain how that works. But essentially, if you don't know, there's this thing in Pokemon called EVs and IVs. These are hidden points that can't normally be acquired. Like, whenever you level up a Pokemon, they just kind of go up in stats. Like, it's just based on the Pokemon. But there's a way to specialize the stats, and it's through a really hard and arduous process of breeding them to get the right natures and stats, which in this game there are natures as well. But there's also points that you can get from attacking certain monsters. You get certain points from killing those monsters. In this game, it's kind of done much better, much more open and intuitive, so then you can get into or get a competitive feel with the game. So anyways, instead of some weird, vague process like that, they make it really intuitive by letting certain monsters drop certain items so that you can upgrade, like, your health, your speed, your special attack. So if you have a monster that does special attacks and has a trait for special attacks, you're probably going to want to specialize it in special attacks. So you get the items that enhance special attacks, and then you just equip it on that creature over and over and over again and buff up his special attack, and there you go. You don't have to do any sort of vague training, all the complicated and hardcore stuff that you don't learn in Pokemon until you're like 3 games in and you're finally 18 as an adult. In this game, you learn it, like, instantaneously. So that's really good. Moonrise people, I definitely congratulate you on that. I think it's really cool. I think it seems like you want to actually kind of make this game a little bit competitive, which is, I mean, that totally could happen. The turn-based system is really strange. It's a very weird environment competitively, because everyone knows turn-based gameplay. There's always some unfairness with first move or second move. So having a real-time battle, well, pseudo real-time battle system is also really interesting. Now, also watching the games. Now, yeah, with Pokemon moving to 3D, it's a little bit more of a spectacle, but these matches are actually really fun, explosive. They look really good too, and it is 3D. It does look really good. But overall, I can't say too much about the game. It's a very, I guess, progression-based game. Like, the real game really kind of starts when you get to that competitive level, when you get your creatures evolved, when you start specializing them and checking out different kind of units and different party formulations. Yeah, you can have 6 monsters just like Pokemon. So pretty much it's very freaking similar to Pokemon. It's its own game. It really is. It's its own creatures. You know, nothing seemed completely borrowed. It is its own creatures. It is its own game. And yes, it very much is inspired by Pokemon, but it is focused in a new direction And I think an older audience, an older nostalgic audience for Pokemon will pick up their tablets, pick up their phones, and have a lot of fun with this game. So thank you for watching. I'm Skylandstore with FreeMMOStation. I definitely recommend you guys trying out Moonrise as soon as you possibly can. It is really cool. The only thing that disappointed me is that it's not truly open world, but other than that, I actually really appreciate the focus that it has, and the fact that it is on mobile is really freaking awesome.